Alright guys, it's time to talk about how to score in NHL 23. In this video, I'm going to go through all of the strategies and plays, as well as methods to score that I use in Hockey Ultimate Team when I'm playing. Now, if you haven't watched my best strategies video, I'd really recommend going to do that first, because then you're going to be on the same playing field. I'm still using the overload and all of the same strategies, and a lot of these ways to score are going to be set up by running that overload play. We're also going to talk a little bit about zone entries, as well as what seems to be the most effective shot in NHL 23. If you guys enjoy the video, make sure you give it a like. It really helps me out. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do for the most up-to-date news, tips, and info for NHL 23. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, my best strategies video is going to show you in depth, but again, I want to get everyone on the same playing field, so we got to talk about the overload. It is, in my opinion, the best strategy to use to score on offense in NHL 23 for a couple reasons. One, there are set plays that you can run while using this strategy. There are set plays while using behind the net, but crash the net, however, while effective in NHL 23, once you are cycling the puck in the zone, crash the net is all reactive. Your AI will go all random different directions, and it's very hard to kind of set up things, and I think that what's going to take you if you're in the lower divisions in Rival all the way up to at least Division 2 is by just having a plan. There are so many players that have no idea once they have the puck in the offensive zone. All they're doing is looking for a backdoor play or maybe a wraparound, and I'm going to show you some plays using the overload that you're going to be able to do. So again, this is all in my best strategies video, but I want to show you guys through this. So the overload, guys, is 3 players on the boards, 2 players in the middle. You have one guy in the slot and then that far weak side defenseman. Basically, what this will allow you to do once it's set up is you can pass between the 3 players in this situation on the right side, and that will allow you to set up a bunch of plays once you're playing an opponent. All right, now there's 2 main plays while using the overload once you've got the puck down around the goal line and that top player. The first one is going to be a give and go with the middle board player here, because what you're going to do is you are basically going to trigger that middle player to cut into the left towards the slot. What that's going to do is your opponent is more than likely going to follow. When that happens, it removes the coverage for the player that you just had the puck with, and you're going to be able to send it back to him. And in NHL 23, the main way to score is a far side wrister. Now, the other main way to use the overload is to send it back to your defenseman along the boards, hit the weak side defender, and your winger that was in the middle will cut into the slot, allowing you to fire that far side shot. Pay attention to how the goaltenders overcommit to the short side in this game. It's something that I've picked up on over the last month and a half of playing it. You can almost always see, if you watch the goaltender, they're almost always overcommitting to the left or the right, and you can pick that apart. Now let's talk about what, in my opinion, is the most entertaining way to score in NHL 23, and that is the tip shot. Now, a lot of people, when they get a goal scored on them like this, just assume that you're flicking up and just randomly getting a shot tipped on net, and while that does happen, you're not going to be nearly as successful doing that random shot as you would be by actually playing for the tip shot, and I'm going to show you how to do it. This is why, in my opinion, the overload is the most impactful strategy in the game, because that player sits in the slot. Now, I'm going to show you a couple plays and what I do now to increase my odds of getting a shot tipped on net and scoring. I'll take this play right here. I get the puck back to the point. A lot of people would take a one-timer, and honestly, one-timers just don't go in nearly as much as they did in prior games in NHL 23. Watch me wait a half second until Barzal gets into the high slot and looks at me. It is one of the most important things to remember when trying this. If you can get your centerman or your winger, whoever is playing in that slot, to look at you, it is going to increase the chances of you getting a shot tipped on net by at least 10. Like I said, the reason why the overload is so impactful is because that player will sit right in front of the net, and as long as he is looking at you, the next part of getting an effective shot tipped on net is to completely ignore the goaltender and look solely at the player that you want to tip the puck. In this situation, I'm not firing for the actual goaltender. I am legit shooting for his stick. All right, now the last tip I want to give when it comes to tip shots in NHL 23 is by using the L2 or left trigger, the vision control at the point to actually get your player to look at you. Now, I have no confirmation on this is what it actually does, but what I've noticed is that if you hold L2 ever so slightly, you can get that player that's in front of the net to look at you. And remember, when aiming a shot for a tip, it doesn't always need to be up in the air. A lot of the most effective ways to tip the puck on net is to fire it along the ice, like in this situation right here. And I don't know what it is, man. It is just way too satisfying to pull this play off. All right, now the next goal I want to talk about is the far side wrister. This is becoming more and more prevalent in NHL 23. And again, I don't know if it has something to do with goaltenders maybe staying short side to counteract what has been the go-to goal for the last 15 years. But if you're able to come into the slot and you hold it on the forehand to cook that shot just a little bit, and you can fire this low, you can fire it upstairs. Your player is able to get full power on this no matter what the position you're in when you're holding the forehand. Again, I'm not sure how, but I've noticed this be one of the most effective goals in the game so far. Now, if you haven't watched my face-off video, please go and watch that as I walk you through all the counters and ways to win the face-off in NHL 23. This far side goal, when you tie someone up, again, is almost automatic, which is why in that face-off video, I tell you in your own zone, you've got a stick lift to avoid this goal. But again, that low far side shot, it just seems to destroy goaltenders. I want to touch on breakaways real quick. There is a ton of ways to score on the breakaway in NHL 23, but in my opinion, just stick with one, and that's either the backhand forehand or the forehand backhand in tight on the left or right side of the goaltender. I'd have to say it's about a 90% success rate, and if you're not very good at it yet, just go into practice mode and get the timing down, but it is extremely simple once you get the timing down. The last thing I want to talk about is zone entries, and I want to focus specifically on ones where your opponent has a defender staring at you. So he's back skating with his defenseman, he's got someone in position, and how do you go about getting into the zone effectively with speed that you can catch them off guard? So the best way to do that is the one cut. So basically you either hold out the backhand and then go forehand, or the forehand and then go backhand, and skate in the direction that you're shifting to. What this will do is it'll allow you to almost keep the exact same speed, but change your angle fast enough, and more often than not, you can just fly right by. So guys, that is going to do it for my basic scoring tips in NHL 23. I will also have videos that will show you some more advanced moves and tips for defense as well. If you guys enjoyed the content, again, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel, and come check me out on Twitch. I stream daily starting at noon Eastern time, twitch.tv/nosleeves12. I'll see you then. Have a good one.